I love you.
Well, thanks for coming back to the couch there, potatoes. We're so happy to have you back. Here I am, the green couch. The
green couch
I'm
potato.
the green traveler. I was about to say the green couch potato. Yeah, I'm the green traveler.
He's
from
where all
Gorsh.
the green chips come from. You know what? I haven't found a green chip in a while. But of course, I don't eat as many potato chips as I once had as a child.
Yeah, I thought you were just talking like salsa verde.
No.
Or like the one nice, I can't remember what, the Cooler Ranch Doritos. I can't remember what those are.
The Cooler Ranch.
Yeah.
I didn't say the name right, I don't think. But there's a new brand of, like, Dorito-type chip. They're not Doritos. They're not Doritos. They're Cooler Ranch.
Yeah. They're like Piqui, Piqui or something like that.
Yeah.
Not sponsored by them.
Not sponsored
so, you know.
and probably spelled incorrectly. But they're good.
Yeah. But yeah, they're really good. But I was going to say, I've never seen like a greenish chip that I haven't liked.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was talking about like regular potato chips. Like every once in a while you come across a green one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I understood.
Yeah.
I understood
Gotcha.
after the fact where you were going with that. I thought initially though you were talking salsa verde. I'm like, I do love those chips. I do take credit of those, but I also take credit of the those green potato chips.
Yeah, I don't know why they are delicious.
They are delicious.
Yeah,
poisonous probably.
Are they?
But delicious.
You think so?
Yeah, it's probably just like part of my farts in there or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay, I see. So
Creates like
you planted all the potatoes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm taking credit for them.
Oh,
yeah, they're mine.
I see. Because you are green, you think that it automatically has your stamp of ownership on it.
The older I've gotten and the more I've become a vegetarian, the more I've noticed that like my farts haven't been smelling, and it makes me wonder if I am farting and they're just appearing elsewhere, and maybe they're appearing in the chip bags. So maybe I'm just farting and they're entering some kind of weird dimensional portal kind of thing and just appearing in bags somewhere, and people eat them like, "There's a good chip," and I'm like, "That's my little toots."
Your understanding of science is far beyond my years.
my lack of understanding of science. I ain't knowing shit.
I am the faceless Leon. I don't think I said that. And this is a podcast about movies and TV called Green and Faceless on the Couch. Welcome.
And tater toots.
And tater toots. Yep. I thought I pulled us away, but we're back here again.
You can't pull us away from tater toots. It's too good. Too good for TV, tater toots.
Tater toots. Yes, I would say it's probably too something for TV. So, this is about the Fox and the Hound, which is, I think, is more interesting than tater toots anyways. But it is a lot. It's not. There's nothing funny about it.
There's nothing funny about it. It's the saddest fucking movie in Disney history, I think.
It's pretty fucking sad. But, dude, I don't know.
I could watch Bambi's mom get shot any fucking time of day and not have an issue.
If I was sadder with Bambi, and you know what? I don't think I was. I was pretty choked up by this fucking movie.
It was sad. Let's be honest. If we were to re-listen to our podcast episode on Bambi, I'm pretty sure we were both sad about the mom dying. But I feel like I can go back to that, watch that scene about 20 times, and still be a little happier than I was at the end of Fox and the Hound.
I mean, okay, but the ending is fine. The ending, I'm not okay.
It's fine.
When I say it's fine, it's a happy ending.
Ish,
sure. But it's happy. It's enough.
Let's unload the synopsis real fast. It's not too big of a synopsis.
No.
As puppies, as young puppies, who is the fox is Todd. The fox is Todd. Its name is Todd.
Yeah.
Its mother is running away from hunters. And those hunters, of course, its mother's a fox, of course. And those hunters are accompanied by their hound dogs. And there is a gunshot. Mama dies. Baby fox all alone. And I think isn't it an owl? It's an owl, right?
Big Mama, played by Pearl
Big
Bailey.
Mama. Yeah, I love Big Mama.
Young Todd is played by Keith Coogan.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. And Big Mama and a couple of birds who I can't remember. I think they were woodpeckers, or one was a woodpecker.
One was a woodpecker at least, but they were Dinky and Boomer. Boomer
Dinky and Boomer.
Played by Paul Winchell, who was Tigger. And Dinky's played by Richard Bacallin. I don't know if I said your name correctly, but he went by Dick back then.
Yeah, he did.
Some Richards do.
And they bring baby young Todd to this lone elderly woman. I can't remember her name off the top of my head either.
That's a good question. Widow Tweed.
Thank you. I was going to say I wrote every other character besides her down.
Played by Jeanette Nolan. That's my mom's name. Jeanette.
Aw, so sweet. And Widow Tweed just sees this young baby fox, feels, sorrow, I guess, for it, and takes it in. Uh-oh, I just dropped my phone.
Oh, bye.
Put that back up. Uh-oh.
Oh, hello again.
Uh-oh. There we go. We're back to normal. We're okay. Oh, there we go again.
Oh, bye.
I got a precarious system set up here, couch potatoes. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Oh.
I'm buying you a stand for your birthday.
I got a prop on it. Anyways, young widow Tweed.
No,
Miss Widow Tweed. No, she's not. Miss Widow Tweed takes in young Todd, and she raises him as her own little pet. And it's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
Not too far down the road is her neighbor, Amos, who is, I have this one written down at least, played by Jack Albertson, who is Grandpa Joe in Willy Wonka.
Secret review of Willy Wonka. Nothing else needs to be said.
I think a lot of shit needs to be said about Willy Wonka.
We'll do a deep dive on Willy Wonka sometime. That's a promise.
Well, we could either do a deep dive or we could just do a sequel smash with the Johnny Depp version.
It's another old and new.
Oh,
You're
old and
right.
new. Yeah.
Okay, I guess we could do that. Tell us in the comments what you would prefer. Bleep, bloop, bloop.
Yeah, right. Bleep, bloop. And Amos, down the road from old Widow Tweed, he has just adopted a new hound himself. A young, I think it's a, what kind of dog is it? Basset hound?
I don't know. I think it's a basset hound. Maybe.
I can't remember. But anyways, that's Cooper.
Bloodhound?
He names him Cooper.
Copper.
Young Cooper. I knew that.
Copper. It's Copper.
Oops,
which is important.
I wrote down Cooper, but that's right. Yeah. Copper, played by Corey Feldman.
Yes, young Copper is played by Corey Feldman, who had to be a baby.
I didn't realize going in, like, when I turned on this movie, all these people were in this film. Like, right. I saw the credits rolling, and it was constantly... There's one in particular we haven't gotten to yet, which was older Todd. If you want to go ahead and give older Todd away.
Oh, so this movie stars Mickey Rooney.
Yeah. And then there's also... I guess we haven't given away older Copper yet either.
Yeah, that's Kurt Russell.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fucking...
I don't know. It's kind of weird to me that... I just, in my mind, it's hard to imagine him so much older than Corey Feldman that he played the older version of him.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of is.
I mean,
but
he is. Yeah, honestly, they still kind of look like each other.
I mean, it's not like they used their likenesses for the dog.
They didn't at all, but they do look like each other. That would have been
very odd.
Yeah, this movie is the first live action. This is it was the first attempt at CGI. It's something else. It's actually, movies. The animation's beautiful. I really
the animation
think this
is beautiful.
A beautiful movie.
Yeah, and I want to get into that a bit later because I had more information about that finally. So, good. But that's for after the quick synopsis, I guess. Which has
not been that quick. Sorry, guys.
But yeah, so Amos adopts young Copper. Copper has an older hound dog to look up to in the form of Chief, the Sheriff Nottingham guy.
Yes, Pat Buttram.
Thank you. Yeah, we talked about him a lot. We love him.
Yep. What a unique voice. Yeah, I love Chief.
No, Chief's great, and I think this is the iconic role for that voice for me, for Pat Buttram. Yeah, because it's like, this is the one I always remembered. I watched Fox and the Hound. My brother and I watched it. Probably not a lot, but enough that it stuck in my mind as being the saddest fucking Disney movie.
Yeah. We watched it a lot too, man. Me and Corbin, this was like Corbin's favorite movie to pick for some reason. Honestly, I think he liked how the birds tormented the worm.
Oh, God. Yeah. There's a poor worm in this.
Yes. The worm's name is Squeaks. It's not credited, but it was Mel Blanc. It was Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny's in this movie as a worm. Well, not a worm. He's a caterpillar. They call him a worm, but he's a caterpillar.
But now that we have like thrice established that these animals are now owned by people, they eventually meet Todd and Copper, and they become friends. And it's that friendship that grows. It's very beautiful. But at the same time, Amos, the hunter, he doesn't want his hound dog being buddy-buddy with foxes because he's supposed to hunt foxes. Yeah. That's what, Amos is just a in my opinion, disgusting hunter. He's, like, it made sense back in, like, the early 1900s, like, Theodore Roosevelt had a shit ton of furs and everything. It was all for game and sport. And I don't know, the more we've learned about how many animals are going extinct because of hunting and all that kind of stuff. I mean, foxes aren't in threat of that, I don't think.
They were.
But they were.
They definitely were, because they were very popular. I think the population is just now fighting back. In fact, there was, at one point, when we first moved in, a family of foxes that lived just beyond my fence. Now there's a big hole in my fence. So they were in my, one morning I'd woken up and all 5 of these children foxes were hopping around in my yard playing, and it was beautiful.
Oh, wow.
It was like one of the first nights we stayed there. So it was great. And I think they were there through the summer, and I saw a couple foxes the next summer. So 1 or 2 of them stayed, but I also saw them a couple times that first summer chasing their mother.
Aww.
It was, it's nice. It's nice to live a little way from town. It takes a half an hour to get anywhere, but that's okay.
Right. That was my life growing up, too. Living out in the countryside, can't find any shit. But it was still beautiful. Yeah, you can go outside, look up at the stars. It was great.
Oh, yeah. I love that. When I step outside on the stoop and let Garlic take a pee, because it's too damn cold.
But it's a beautiful story, though, to watch these two creatures, the fox and the hound, try to uphold a friendship while knowing it goes against their owner's wishes. Right. Amos wants to hunt Todd, and Widow Tweed, she doesn't hate Copper, but she does kind of hate Amos because he's a fucking asshole.
Right. Amos is being a real dick about it because, he thought when at some point Todd goes to visit Copper and Amos scares him and he goes into the chicken coop and startles all the chickens. So he just thought the fox was trying to get at his chickens. So they're like...
Right.
I tried because I remember disliking Amos so much. Besides the fact that I thought he was a pretty decent dog owner. But he... he does really care about his dogs. Like... We'll talk about Chief later.
I guess he kind of does. He's kind of very brusque with his dogs, but at the same time, so am I with mine. But I don't have like a, I don't know. I feel like Zelda knows I don't mean anger.
Sure.
Whereas with Amos, there's definite like clear, I will hurt you if you don't do what I say energy to him sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. He's an angry old man. But I really tried to watch, because I've seen this movie so many times, tried to watch it more through Amos's perspective. And he, like you say, he's disgusting for what he does. But I mean, judging by their vehicles, they're like live in, I don't know, the 20s or 30s.
Right.
So you had to do something to get by. And so he was a trapper and fur trader. And fur was still something that we didn't have a way to supplicate, So...
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want to say he's disgusting for hunting. That's not, like, I know a lot of people hunt, and I get it. I mean, I don't know. I don't find pleasure from it, but I understand that some people do. It's more, I guess, his decisions at the end that make him disgusting. Because he hunts on a game reserve.
Right, yes.
Where
I did not like
the
that.
Animals are protected.
I did not like that. That pissed me off, and he was out for revenge. And we will go ahead. This is a really old movie, and even if we spoil the plot, you should still go watch it.
Yeah.
At another part in the movie, they're chasing Todd off the property again, and Chief chases him onto some railroad tracks, and they have to jump away, but Chief gets hit by the train, actually, but manages to survive the fall with...
Oh, no, he didn't.
No, he not in real life. But in this story, he only has a broken leg, and there is, like, the best bit in the movie. The best bit, like, the comedical bit, anyways. It is him waiting for them to come home. It's like, this is the way to do it. Rests his leg, and then they come home, and he starts wailing, and they don't pay attention to him. So he goes into the other room, and he's like, and they're like, oh, you get in that other room right now.
And he goes in with like a giant cast around his leg, and he's like clunking it around. It's so funny. But the fun fact, the animators fought hardcore for him to die, because he dies in the books.
Okay.
This is it's based off a novel by Daniel P. Mannix of the same name, I think, and he died in that, and it's a kind of a turning point for Copper, right? And also in the books, again, we've already said we're going to spoil it. In the books, Todd dies at the end. That's not the case in the movie, but I believe Todd dies at the end.
I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, and the animators, they wanted to keep that emotional, like, that harshness of Chief dying. And you can totally see 100% in the animation that Chief is dead in that scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because his body, like, I mean, they play it off as he's just broken, but, like, he was dead, and, you know, the suits of Disney at the time, they said, no, we're not going to have this harshness in a kid's movie. He has to survive. You know, you can have this moment, but he's got to stay alive. And so basically all the animators did, and it's very lazy, and you can totally see it, they just had it so that the eyes fluttered a bit, so that it gave the impression that the dead animal was alive. But no, you can 100% see that when Chief lands, he is dead. Like,
yeah.
There's no movement. There's even a moment where Copper like hits him sadly with his nose and moves him, and he doesn't move at all or react.
True. But I mean, he would be out cold if he did survive. But he got hit by a freaking train.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I just popped open Wikipedia's page right onto the plot, and one of the first sentences of a paragraph says, with Chief buried and Master crying over a dead dog. Da 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 da.
And that's from the book.
Yeah, that's in the book.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like incredibly sad, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And they definitely toned that down for the movie, but it still carries that emotional weight, and I do applaud them for that. It's pretty good. But because of that, Amos he seeks out revenge. You know, he wants to kill that fox because that's who Chief was chasing when he fell and hurt himself. And Copper's totally pissed now because he kind of blames Todd for it too, or he thinks it was Todd's fault. Mm-hmm. And so they both go out to the game reserve where Todd is hiding because Widow Tweed.
Yes, she dropped him off there. That was probably that was at least one of the saddest moments. I don't know if it's the saddest moment, but it's pretty freaking sad.
It's definitely up there with one of the saddest moments. It's so freaking just upsetting. It's a beautiful moment, though. Like, it really does kind of just rock me emotionally. That's definitely the part where I always tear up, is when she's having her sad talk in the car. Ugh.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's that moment, too, that makes the ending harder for me. Because, again, just to spoil the ending, Copper and Amos find Todd. There's a chase. Todd, who is also fallen in love with a younger fox that he just randomly met.
Right, okay? He and Vixie are totally Twitter-pated, okay?
So you're right. They are Twitter-pated. Oh, God.
Vixie's played by Sandy Duncan. Now, I don't know if this character is in the book or not, but it would seem totally unnecessary for...
Oh, yeah, it really is.
For this...
It's just to give Todd a happier ending.
Yeah.
It's just so you know he has some kind of happiness to go to, because what happens is they have a chase, Todd and Vixie get away, and in the meantime, Amos steps in a bear trap, he's stuck, and a bear attacks. Because bears do.
Because they do that.
It is a frightening fucking bear. It is monstrous.
Yeah.
It is just like, it's pure shadows kind of in some areas. It's a good bear. It carries all the weight you need it to. But it attacks Amos and Copper. Copper has a fight with it. Todd hears it. He runs back to help. Yeah. Because that's who Todd is. Todd's a good fox.
Todd's a good not person.
Good guy Todd. And he runs back to save him. And he does save them. Amos gets out of the bear trap. And the motherfucker goes up to shoot Todd.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's a motherfucker.
Amos, jeez. Yeah. This is not obvious that fox just saved your life?
Well, to be fair, I think when I watched it, I don't think he ever sees Todd fighting the bear. He just appears on scene and there's a bear and a fox lying on the ground. He's like, I'm going to take this fucking opportunity.
Oh. Yeah.
And Copper just jumps up in front of it. And it's a very beautiful moment because Copper's just like, no. He's growling at it. He's like, no. And he's hurt too. You can see it in Copper's way he's carrying himself that he's been in pain. And, Amos and him just leave. Amos is like, all right, I won't kill a fox. And him and Copper just leave. They go their separate ways. Todd and Vixie go their separate ways. It's a beautiful movie. Beautiful moment. Sorry to spoil it all. But it's just, it's the sad part of it is that scene with Widow Tweed, where she's talking about how much Todd means to her and how much she's meant to him, kind of. Just knowing that it's not going to happen, that he's not going to go back to her. He's off in the wild now. And I'm like, no, it's so sad. I can't think about that.
He didn't go back to the farm? I thought he did.
No, him and Vixie go off into the wilderness, and then Copper and Amos end up going back to the farm because Widow Tweed starts taking care of Amos because he's dumb fucking hurt himself. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I feel sorry for you. I'm going to make your recovery a living hell. And she's hitting him on the leg.
For some reason, I thought Todd was in that scene.
No, I don't believe so. Maybe looking off from
All right, hold on a second.
He might be looking off from afar, but I was fairly certain that he was just in the wilderness.
See, I thought she was being nice to him because Todd was back on the farm.
I don't think so. I think he just comes home and she feels bad because he's hobbling. I don't think she's gonna adopt a wild fox because she'd have to adopt Vixie too.
Oh, she would definitely have to adopt Vixie. They're Twitter-pated real good.
He got a taste of the wild. He ain't going back. That's what I think.
This is not the ending. Find? I'm trying to find the ending.
There is a Fox and the Hound too, isn't there?
There is a Fox and the Hound 2.
Yeah. Or is it the Fox 2 and the Hound 1?
Yes.
Thanks for humoring me. This has been our best episode yet. Heck? We're on it.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to find it. They don't care. They don't care that I just typed in the end of the Fox and the Hound. Nobody's put up the end. Somebody put up the end credits.
Hey, that's nice of them.
Yeah. I guess it's Disney's right to... Oh, hold on. I did find it.
How about we leave that part as the unspoiled bit. You don't know if Todd's...
That's right. You don't know if Todd had an actual happy ending or not.
That's your excuse to go out and watch it after we spoiled this heartbreaking movie.
It is so good, though.
Yeah, it is really good.
It is a beautiful movie. And I do want to talk about one aspect of it, like this lens that I am, as an adult who has gone through academia, is able to do. But this movie could totally be watched as a view at the relationship between the police and the marginalized people in this country that we call minorities. And it's labeled for us, I feel like. I feel like it's intentional because the hunting dogs' names are Copper and Chief. I think it's there for us. I think that's what we're supposed to get from this movie. And I think if you watch it with that lens, it's very poignant. And they do a very good job. I could imagine a story of a man, growing up alongside and having a neighborhood friend who he all of a sudden, as a police officer, is basically trained to be prejudiced against.
I think there's plenty of those.
Yes, and I think this is an interesting view into that.
Take on it. I agree with that.
So there you go. That's where my analytical mind went with it anyways.
I mean, that is definitely like part of the enjoyment of this whole thing is like you can watch this movie in many different lights.
Oh, sure.
And at the same time, like even if you're just watching it for fun, you pick up on all of that because it's really well done. Right. The whole story is really well laid out.
There's even like a possible homosexual angle on it, if you want to put that angle on it. Pretty sure that Disney wasn't going for it. Though they have had pretty coded characters up to this point already.
Right. That's why they added Vixie in.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody watched it and was just like, too gay. It's too gay. Gotta add a female fox in there.
I did scan in here after the mating action was done. Ooh. Somewhere in here, so...
You said there's mating action in the movie? I missed a whole fox sex scene? Book. Gotcha.
Come on, man. I mean, how much more do they have to give you? Those foxes, they did it.
So wait, in the book, are you saying Copper and Todd had a mating scene?
I didn't read the whole sentence.
Because that would be very exciting.
I don't think that happened.
I don't think that happened either, but it'd be very exciting.
It would, but not that kind of exciting.
Do you want to hear the fun tidbit that I brought along? Because
sure.
You have your analytical bit, and I have my my little technological tidbit, I guess. This is the official film that Disney's Nine Old Men worked on. I think we talked about in the last film that's the one where they all worked on it. It was the last one where all of the originals from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs worked on. This is the last one that has the official, like the last two people of Disney's Nine Old Men retired in the at the beginning of the work on this one. They handed the bulk of the project off to younger animators. But the last two of Disney's Nine Old Men that worked on this were Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston. And because we haven't done this at all, I think, for the whole Disney playlist, I'll go ahead and list Disney's Nine Old Men in a very boring list here. So drum roll, I guess. The original Nine Old Men for Disney were Milt Kahl, Mark Davis, Frank Thomas, Ollie Johnston, just mentioned him, Eric Larson, Wolfgang Reitherman himself, the director of the last few. He did not direct this one. This was the first one that he did not direct for a long time. Les Clark, Ward Kimball, and John Lounsbury. And this one, since Wolfgang was not the director, this one was directed by Todd Berman and Richard Rich as their debuts, and Art Stevens, who had also helped Wolfgang on the last few, helped direct this one. But the exciting bit is the new animators that came on with this film, because you had some people who didn't go on further with Disney very far, but this is where they got their start. Was Tim Burton helped with the animation on this, or maybe with storyboards. He might not have worked hard in the animation department, but he worked somehow in some regard on this film. Brad Bird, the director of, and maybe writer even, of Iron Giant and The Incredibles. Yeah, amazing. I love Brad Bird. He's great. And John Lasseter, Toy Story's, the brains of Toy Story. Yeah, it's this is where you got some of these big animators coming in. Yeah, and it's very exciting because they're about to be Tim Burton and Brad Bird are about to go on to other things, but this new animation team that's coming in this transition period, they're all about to go on and, be huge in the Renaissance period for Disney.
Right.
It's just, this is where they get their start. They get their start right here and in a little bit in the last one too. And so it's very exciting because we're hitting that turning point with Disney. It's all changing here.
Yeah.
And it's you can kind of feel it. There's a lot of, the animation of The Fox and the Hound is, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it feels more lively than The Rescuers did.
Yes,
The Rescuers was very beautiful also.
Cleaner, whereas at the same time there was a texture to... There's a texture to both of them that is different. It was almost like it felt a little grittier in The Rescuers, and that story was pretty gritty. But where this one feels, I don't know, it feels smoother. It does. That's what I have to say about it.
It definitely does.
And that, that means a lot from a guy whose face feels like a cue ball. I mean,
smoothness is key. Disney hasn't really let down very much in the art department. And, you know, again, The Rescuers was beautiful, but here I love the animation of this one. Like, there's some moments where the animation, you know, seems a little glitchy, I guess, with like movements and things, but I'm forgiving of it. Like, it's such a fun movie that like specifically one scene I'm thinking of is there's a moment at the very beginning where Widow Tweed's finally gotten Todd, and Todd had gone to visit Cooper. Copper. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Cooper.
I always thought his name was Cooper too, but I was watching the movie and it's definitely Copper.
Yeah.
And I do have to give some credit towards me watching the movie with that lens to Sarah, my wife, because she was like, oh my God.
It just hits hard. It hits different as an adult. Yeah. Definitely does.
Because it's about brotherly love. Otherwise, and I think that's why my brother was into it and myself. But man, it really resonated with my brother for some reason.
But Copper, Todd had gone to visit Copper, and the farmer saw that Copper was there, and he starts chasing, you know, the fox, because that's what he does. He's a fox chaser. That's all fucking Amos does. And he gets in the car, and him and I think just Chief. I don't know if Copper was there, but him and Chief get in the car and they're chasing Todd down. Todd catches up to Widow Tweed, who's in her car driving off to town.
Yeah.
And he to deliver milk, I believe.
Yeah.
And, you know, Todd jumps into the car, and Amos takes his fucking shotgun and shoots at Widow Tweed's car.
I am so upset about it. I was so upset about it. I was like, are you freaking kidding me, Amos? And I'm like, this is a kid movie. This is an adult person. They're supposed to look at the adult peoples and be like, this is what adult peoples do. I could do that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It was a very ridiculous, bonkers decision. But that's also the like one part that comes into my mind where the animation is just a little wonky, is because like the animation is shooting the big keg of milk. But like that's just that moment. That's the one thing I can think of that comes to mind. Otherwise, it's a beautiful looking movie. Honestly, let's be honest.
It really is.
How many times can I say honestly?
Honest to gods.
Honestly. You gotta believe me.
Should we do closing statements, or is that what you're kind of leading into? I do love this movie. It's really good.
I do too. Yeah. I give it 3.5 stars. It's a very fun film. It hits way too many emotions.
Yeah, it hits hard.
It hits hard. But it's great voice acting from people I did not know were in the movie until I rewatched it as an adult.
Not at all. This top tier Disney movie, you better watch it. If you do watch it, prepare to be sad. If you don't get sad from it, then you didn't get it, okay? And
if you don't want to be sad, we spoiled the whole movie for you.
We sure as shit did, so you don't even have to watch it. I give it a face and a half. It is something that me and my brother watched a lot, so I do have a lot of nostalgia from it, but beyond that, it is an excellent movie. And I do believe that there is some very deep thought put into its plot. I applaud Disney for this one, so there we go.
And if you've liked this jumbled and wild and all over the place, not well structured episode, I'm sorry. We're both ADHD, and it's after a long day and a long week, honestly.
Oh, but yeah, it really has been. I don't know why. It keeps on dragging.
But we do this out of the love in our hearts for you couch potatoes showing up and listening. And if you like this, you can check us out at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. We've updated our tiers.
We sure have.
You can check out the new prices, the new rights available to you through those tiers if you choose to donate to us monthly.
We're hoping very soon to put some bonus content up there that's exclusive for you guys.
Yeah.
But the main thing that your support is getting you is a vote for our potato pick that we do once a month for you couch potatoes.
Mm-hmm. And if you go just a tiny bit price over our lowest tier, if you go up to $5 a month, you'll be able to suggest that for the potato pick that we do. Yeah. And originally we were asking that at a higher tier, but we've lowered it because we want more people to
To feel that they can do that, yeah. Because $5 a month, if you think our show is worth buying us a cup of coffee, I know that's what everybody fucking says, but it's a good analogy. I mean, how many cups of coffee do you buy yourself? So, just if you think of it that way, we'd be grateful. But we'll do this show for free, no matter what.
Yeah, but thanks for listening. We love you all so much. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leone. I got no face. I wish I didn't do that. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. If you like the show, please show your support by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you might listen. We also now have a Patreon account. If you feel so inclined to support us in a financial manner, please become a patron by visiting patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can also find more information about us on our Facebook account or on the FictionWorks 19 Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening.